How's it going? My name is MGiger. This is for EDU292. This is my common emotional experiences story, and it is titled The Midnight Madness Mix-Up. Just over 10 years ago now, I was a young sophomore in high school, full of ambition, always looking for the next source of fun, no matter what it was. And at this time in my life, I was a budding sousaphone player in our school's marching band. And this was a big deal at our school. Now, it was one of our identities that our school was known by. We had over a fifth of our school enrolled in the marching band, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, especially for a high school. Our high school had about 500 kids at the time, so imagine we had about 130 in the marching band. And I was not alone on this marching band venture. No, I was joined by my other fun-seeking friends, my friends who might not have been the best influence at the time, but my friends that are lifelong friends. And you know, they are not alone. I was also not the best influence at the time. And during the fall, that year, our sophomore year of high school, at the height of marching band season, our marching band held an annual gathering every year, and we called it Midnight Madness, and it's where the marching band would come to the school late afternoon, early evening, and stay at the school until midnight. We'd practice, we'd go through our show, do things like that, and then we would transition into dinner, games, and fun activities until midnight, where people would then go home. Students would go home, right? My friends and I, we weren't necessarily the model students, as I said. We were a mix of brass and percussion players, and we were aspiring skaters. You know, we were punks deep down inside. We wore ripped jeans. We had questionable graphic t-shirts. You know, we rode our chip skateboards around town. We had a habit of pushing boundaries. And of course, we all rode our skateboards to Midnight Madness. As the practice portion of the night ended, my friends and I, you know, we kind of looked at each other like, are we really going to stay here and play the games? Or are we going to go skate and do our own thing? Have the freedom, be on our own. And that is exactly what we did. We decided we were going to leave Midnight Madness to go skate, to go serve our own selfish ambitions and desires. And boy, did we not realize what that was going to get us into. As our practice portion ended, the band left the band room and went down to the gymnasium to go play some dodgeball. Now we left the band room and went to our local park to go skate. Now nobody noticed that we had left until they got down and lined up for dodgeball. And no one thought anything of it. We weren't bound to the school. We were free to leave and do as we pleased. And so we left to go skate. Totally fine. Until the band got back to the band room. And what they found, man, the band room had been completely vandalized. I'm talking food on the walls, food on instruments. Food was everywhere. And if you know anything about caring for instruments, food and instrument care, they do not mix. They're not friends. In fact, food can be the detriment to instruments and their health. So when our band teacher got back to this mess, you can imagine her thoughts when she saw it. And the 5 skater kids disappeared, right? We were the prime suspects. And so we were skating at the park, minding our own business, listening to our rap music, not a care in the world, freedom in our boards and at our wheels. And all of a sudden, that iPhone xylophone, the bum ba dun 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 dun, interrupts our music. And it was hell's bells. For some reason, we knew that it was a trying call, a call that we knew was not going to be fun. Turns out, our band teacher tells us what happens. And we deny all these accusations. We did not do it. Our band teacher was having a very difficult time believing us. We had all been in trouble throughout the school year already. You know, we were not, as I said, the model students at the time. So our teacher was like, you know, and rightfully so, these kids are lying. They definitely vandalized the band room. So we hung up, and after she told us she was going to be contacting our parents, we said we had nothing else to say. We're innocent. We did not do this. We are going to be contacting our parents as well to talk about what happened. So we are still the prime suspects, and I cannot make this up. Just like a movie scene, not even minutes After the phone call, we are putting our heads together. We are brainstorming ways of how to get out of this situation. We did not vandalize the band room. We are hundreds of dollars of damage over our heads. We don't have that money. We're sophomores in high school. We barely work as it is, you know. And lo and behold, on a silver platter, a car rolls into the parking lot that we are skating in, just right by it. Slow, deliberate, loud techno music playing, and inside of the car, 3 men with skeleton masks are driving and operating the vehicle, listening to this music. They're not driving crazy, but they're just staring at us, and we're staring at them about 40 yards or so away. That's when it clicked. We realized these were the culprits. These were the vandalizers. And whoever they were, we needed to catch them. This sounds like a movie, but at that moment, when we realized that they were the culprits, they began to shoot fireworks out of their car at us, like Roman candles, some type of projectile firework where they were lighting it off a stick and shooting it at us, and we didn't know what to do. So I called my old man and explained to him the situation. Now, at this point, these guys are rolling around the parking lot, shooting fireworks at us, blaring music, just having fun harassing us. They're reveling in it because we don't have a car, we're just on skateboards, we're helpless, and they're operating this vehicle, shooting fireworks at us. So I call my dad, tell him everything that's happened. He believes us from the moment that I pick up the phone. He hears it in my voice, and he believed us. He tells me, son, I'm gonna come help you and sort this out and help you figure this out. He says, please call the police, tell them what is happening, and I am on my way, and tell the police that your dad is on the way. 10 minutes later, my dad pulled up in his car, calm, super calm. He already knew what was going on, and he sees the car circling in the parking lot. He parks right at the entrance of the parking lot and shuts the gates, just like a movie, trapping the perpetrators in the parking lot. A genius idea that in the heat of the stress, me and my friends hadn't even think about. They didn't even realize that they were locked in until they completed their circle and were now facing the gate, completely closed, and my father just walking toward them very, very calmly. They tried to rev their engine, trying to intimidate my dad as he continued to walk closer and closer to the car. My friends and I were sitting on the sidelines watching in disbelief that my father has trapped these people. He is a step closer to citizen arresting these people. We couldn't believe what he was doing. As he gets within reaching distance of the car, he jumps on top of the hood and begins to kick the windshield of the car. He tells them to stop. He tells them to get out of the car. My dad is losing it on these people because they are a threat to not only his son, but his son's friends, who my father, who's a great man, considers just like his sons. So my dad jumped off the car. He begins to punch the driver's side window, telling them to get out because they refuse to get out and they can't get out of the parking lot. So they know that they are trapped, but now they are deathly afraid of my father, who's also an intimidating man. My father used to be, box. My dad is not afraid of a fight. At that moment where my dad starts pounding on the driver's side window, the police descend on the parking lot, open up the gates, and immediately see everything that my dad, myself, and our friends had outlined to the operator, to the sheriff. We had outlined the situation perfectly. I learned that night that being innocent doesn't protect you from being blamed. The cops separated everyone. They got our statements. They called our band teacher. They connected all the dots. And it turns out that the skeleton crew was just 3 seniors from our high school, just looking to cause trouble. And they didn't even realize the gravity of what had happened that night, that we had been blamed for their vandalization, and then what would then ensue after harassing us at the park, and then us leaning on our parents and the police to help us out. The thing that stuck with me, outside of learning that innocence doesn't protect you from being blamed, is that my dad showed up, and it's that sense of loyalty as well. It was watching him take control and make things right to not only serve myself, but serve my friends. It it left me with a single truth that I want to leave you all with today. And it's a truth that has only become more true as I've grown up and gotten older in my life. And it's that, people will believe whatever story fits best until someone stands up and forces them to see what the real story truly is. And that is a truth that will stand the test of time. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my story.